Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Inspiring Life with Elizabeth. I'm Elizabeth Browning, and our very special guest tonight is Ruth Lembo. Ruth Lembo is a certified holistic health coach from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and she is passionate about the life-enhancing benefits of plant-based eating for over 2 decades. She now guides others, myself included, in a fun, simple process of becoming plant-based and radically improving their quality of life. She is the creator of the Nourish technology. It's a unique transformational process that she uses with her clients in her signature program, and it's soon to be a book. And Ruth is also the creator of her very own holistically healthy lifestyle. She lives in the beautiful countryside of Vermont with her husband and her 3 border collies, Bucky, Bear, and Foxy, her Cocker Spaniel, 2 cats, and 5 sheep. She believes that transparency creates transformation, and Ruth speaks openly about her past struggles as well as her triumphs with her own relationship to food. So coming to us from her beautiful health sanctuary in Vermont, a very warm welcome to Ruth Lembo. Yay! All right, it's funny because I have been so excited about this segment, and I think I'm most excited because of what's happened in my life, thanks to what you've helped me discover. And I want to share that with other people. I never in a million years would have believed that I could do a plant-based diet. And I had lots of ideas about it. And then I had a health scare last year, and thank God that's been completely resolved. But I knew that there were healing benefits and positive reasons to do plant-based. So I went to Ruth. We started this journey together January 1st, and I am so excited because I can not only do it, but it's delicious and it's fun and it's full of surprises. And so I'm excited for you to get to know a little bit tonight about what I've gotten to know. So Ruth, we all come to this journey in a different way. I first knew you as a working actress in New York City, living in an apartment, and here you are like in this gorgeous farm on Vermont. Could you tell us a little bit about your journey?
Of course. Well, I think actually I became plant-based right before I met you in New York. I was about 30 when I became plant-based. And that's when I made it stick, when I was 30. And, I didn't have any health concerns, but I was definitely not thriving in my life. I was low energy. I was too easily stressed. I had brain fog and depression even. And my initial allure to plant-based eating was my love for animals. I mean, I've always been a huge animal lover, and I simply not wanting to eat them. And I wanted to find a way to make that work for myself. So in doing that, I found the most compelling, inspiring scientific nutritional information. And when I put that into practice, I realized then and there the true power of nutrition. I gained mental clarity, something that became crystal clear that I don't know how I missed for so many years was that eating well and loving myself are so deeply intertwined. Brene Brown says, talk to yourself like someone you love. And I like to say, feed yourself like someone you love. And even I'm obsessed with the nutrition of my dogs and my cats. I am really into that. And I can't not do that because I love them so much. And, same with my husband to some degree. But, it's a little different, even at this point in my journey for myself. Like there's a disconnect. So anyway, the thing is, it's important to feed yourself like you love yourself or someone you love. So there were a lot of light bulbs went off, and then I just developed a propensity for finding what I called little tricks to feel better. because the nutrition had me going in such a good way. And now I realize they're actually holistic tools in creating mind, body, soul health.
Mm.
And that's really how I ended up becoming a holistic health coach.
It's so interesting because, at least for me, I think so many of us do not equate loving ourselves with how we feed ourselves. And
I
just
know.
that idea alone. And I think the hardest thing for me was I came in with all these limiting beliefs about plant-based eating.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I have to have enough protein. There's not going to be enough protein. And honestly, I love my chicken and my fish and
Mm-hmm.
my meat, and I don't know how I can live without it. And then I thought, and also I'm not a cook. It's everyone faints if I even go into the kitchen. So I was like, there's no way, because it's going to be complicated and difficult. And then honestly, I was like, and I don't think it's going to taste good. Like, I'm going to have to do what's good for my health and give up everything that's pleasurable. So could you address a little bit about limiting beliefs and
About surrounding going plant-based? Yeah, I think anybody who wants to improve their health and wants to go plant-based feels a little bit, they can relate to what you're saying. And there's so many myths out there. Take protein. There are no nutrients in animal-based foods that are not better provided by plant foods. So protein, for example, I mean, it has more protein per calorie than steak. Google it. And it always has. This isn't new information at all.
I'm
So,
sorry, what did you say has more protein?
broccoli.
Really? Because I've always thought protein has to be the combination of beans and rice if you're vegetarian, but nobody talks about the protein in vegetables or in plants. That's actually amazing.
Well, there's a lot of pressure from the meat industry and, big business. So there's that. I don't want to get into that per se. But so just taking the broccoli steak comparison, there not only does broccoli meet every nutritional need that steak does, you're also getting all the other benefits of the phytonutrients from it's a nutrient dense, the antioxidants and all the other positives. So it's much healthier than steak. So that's the protein piece. That's just one example. Um, and then so you mentioned a lot of people have kitchen phobia. I mean, a lot. And there's nothing wrong with that. My mom has that. I don't know how I didn't end up with it myself. A lot of my clients have it. It's more common than not, I would say. And it's just an adjustment phase. If you want to do it, you can do it. When I first became vegetarian, I didn't even have a real kitchen. I was living in this tiny little apartment in New York City, and I didn't even have a sink. This only
Wow.
sink was in the bathroom, and I did it, and it stuck to this day. So it doesn't have to be hard.
Right.
The key is making it work for you, and it doesn't have to be like a cookie cutter approach in any way. It shouldn't be. That's kind of where it starts getting
And I
holistic.
love that. And that's what I love in terms of our work together, is that it is
Mhm.
really unique and really individual. And we are going to talk about my third limiting belief in a minute, about my misnomer that it was going to taste bad, because I could not have been more wrong.
Right.
But take just a moment and, like, people think plant-based, but what are the benefits? Like, besides the obvious benefits, what are some of the surprises that people may not be aware of in terms of plant-based living, plant-based eating?
Well, it's like, I think of it as it's like opening a whole new door. You kind of close the door on the standard American diet and all the sickness that goes with that, or whatever it may be for you, or just sort of close the door. Depends on who you are. Leave the door, just shut it a little more. Maybe leave a little, whatever works for you. But it's like opening a new door to all these possibilities. And I feel like if you still have meat on your plate, you're less likely to really walk into um like this land where, before I was vegetarian, I don't remember liking salads, but now it's like they're this creative piece of exciting nutritious life force it's just,
Well,
I
yeah,
love,
because your
yeah.
salads are not like the regular go to the restaurant, get a salad. They're
Oh
extraordinary.
no,
They're
and you always
so
make them very
good.
big. You always making them bigger than the conventional salad, and you make a big deal out of your salads. And I mean, that's probably turning people off because they're like, oh my God. But right?
No, not once you've tried it. It's a huge surprise. So there's also medical proof behind this, right? In terms of the
Oh, yes, yes,
benefits and
yes. Absolutely. It's best to quote doctors. And there's so many, and science keeps advancing and supporting plant-based eating more and more. And it's not my intention to convince anyone or um, to debate the matter with anyone. My clients always come to me ready to do it. But let's take Dr. Michael Greger. He's huge in the plant-based world right now. And to quote him directly, he says the number one cause of disease is diet, and that scientific evidence over time has repeatedly shown that a whole food plant-based diet can stave off numerous disabilities, not just diseases, but all those gray areas, excuse me, disabilities, and diseases, the big ones like heart disease, cancer, chronic illnesses, type 2 diabetes. Um, so that's Dr. Michael Greger. Dr. Joel Furman, who has been a huge influence, my biggest influence, and over the years, and his life's work speaks for itself, really. He's a renowned medical doctor who specializes in reversing disease with plant-based nutrition. And again, it's all the big ones, heart disease, autoimmune disease, chronic pain. This conversation wouldn't be complete if I didn't mention the China study. That's one of the largest studies ever conducted on human nutrition. It was in the 1980s. And, it's a 417-page book where all the studies are discussed and analyzed. And it concludes, in a nutshell, that eating animal products causes cancer.
wow.
And a whole food plant-based diet prevents cancer. So,
Wow.
there's that was in the 80s, and there's so much more compelling information coming out every day, really.
And there are a lot of little things too, like there's the big little things, like I noticed that going down the stairs, my joints didn't hurt as much and my skin felt clearer and my
Of
eyes looked
course, yeah,
brighter. And
of
it's like
course.
we really forget that how we feed ourselves affects everything. And the thing I'm most excited about is that
Mhm.
this is delicious and that it's pleasurable and that it's fulfilling and that it's not either or. And I want to show a couple
I
of
wouldn't be into it if it wasn't pleasurable.
me too. Me too. So I want to share just a couple of pictures of some of these are all dishes that you have made. And we start with the easy ones. So people like Elizabeth who have no time and don't know what to do in the kitchen. Will you tell us just a little bit about some of these dishes?
Yeah, I post them on Facebook a lot. This was a hack of mine. Everybody, you have to have a lot of hacks. So this is just a can of Amy's low sodium organic, I think, southwestern soup. And then I just added my own veggie stock. But when you're plant-based, you have a lot of vegetables in the refrigerator. You have them in your house anyway. So then I just add a ton of spices and herbs and whatever I happen to have, and it turns into a really, really delicious little
It looks
healthy meal.
amazing. And this, voila.
Yeah, I just made that, I think, last week. That's broccolini fra diavolo. It's quite spicy, and it has diced tomatoes, a lot of tomatoes, garlic, nutritional yeast. It's fantastic. It's really delicious and versatile. You can have it with a lot of different things.
And this next one made me very happy because I was like, but cheese, I can't live without my cheese. I love
I know, I
cheese.
know, I know. Yeah, that's I made that's a cashew mozzarella. Um, it's made from, well, mostly cashews, a little tapioca, flour, nutritional yeast, and then it's like a nice bread. And I always put, there's homemade pesto on there. It's like it's phenomenal. It was delicious. And I always add greens, fresh leafy greens to anything I make.
And so it's really like we don't have to do without anything. It's just finding a substitute. And this is what you call your healing soup. I love this.
Well, it started out as a healing broth, and it was so good. It has like all these vegetables that are boiled, reduced. That's the word I'm looking for. Reduced, and then um, garlic, ginger, turmeric, all kinds of things. The broth, sweet potatoes. The broth is so good that I ended up making it into a little soup with soba noodles and shiitake mushrooms and whatever
Love
else
that.
is in there.
And then for the summertime,
Mhm.
everything's so beautiful, the colors, and it
Well, you
just,
know what I want to say about that? Like a lot of people, they're like, well, yeah, I have a client right now. And she's like, I don't make anything pretty. And she kind of is intimidated by that. I just happen to enjoy doing this. It's not necessary to make things pretty. Like, I don't want that to intimidate. If you like to do that, that's what matters. But if not, that's what matters, So
and this
anyway,
is just what, watermelon and mint.
yes. Oh, it's
It,
great.
it looks, and then this is the happiest of happy for those of us who think we have to give up desserts and sweets.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. One of my very favorites. There is nothing unhealthy in those, and they are absolutely fantastic. No bake brownies, it's nuts, cacao powder, medjool dates, I believe.
Oh my gosh. And they're really terrific, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've given them to. I have a friend who's a diehard meat eater, and she's just like, damn. So yeah, I think they're good.
That's the real test.
Yeah, right.
So, in terms of how do we get started? Like, if somebody's like,
Right.
okay, I want to, but how do I get started and what do I do? And one of the things I love is that you have this holistic approach to everything. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your approach to how people could get started.
Well, right. That's where it gets holistic by considering that there's the mind body soul connection, right? So the place to start always is with the mind, um because there's a quote, the body is the servant to the mind. I forget who said it, but I feel like that's so absolutely true. At the deepest level, all our thoughts create our reality. So consciously or subconsciously, our thoughts can create disease. They do create disease, or they create incredible thriving, or somewhere in between, based on the quality of our thoughts. um and many want to get healthier and become plant-based, but they believe it's going to be all about deprivation, and nothing could be further than the truth. So that's sort of a limited belief around plant-based eating. When it comes to aging, there's so many around aging. um and if you believe you're doomed to decline as you age, you most likely will. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe you're going to thrive like never before, you will. So why not expect to grow more capable, more, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually?
And plant-based eating actually does impact the aging process, which I didn't know.
Oh,
It's like the more I learn, the more excited I am about it, because I had no idea. But it changes. We think we have to be achy. We accept the fact that we're stiff or that we're tired, and it's just changing how we take care of ourselves and love ourselves and feed ourselves can actually add many years in terms of
oh,
our
of
life experience.
course, of course.
So you
Hmm.
have a very cool trick that you've taught me for people if they're going to go shopping, because I used to literally, I was the girl that would go into the grocery store, look at the fruit and vegetables and just go, and then I'd get an
But
orange.
most
So, but
people do. Most people do. So yeah. And this is a little trick or a little tool from Dr. Joel Furman. People might even know about it. It's on the internet. It's um it's an acronym for 6 foods that have amazing powers to prevent disease and promote longevity. And the acronym is G bombs. GBOMBS. And so once you make a decision to improve your health, my point is, it's a very simple to implement. My clients love using it. My father, he's in his late 70s, and just was it 2 days ago, I was on the phone with him. He said, I gotta go out. I gotta go get my G-bombs. And so, okay. and my husband, I have to say, he can't do a grocery list. He goes to the store, and he can't come home with, he's never ever come home with everything on the list. But G-bombs he can do. So I don't know. I think there's something to it. But anyway, they're greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. And so the thing is, they act independently. But the thing about plant-based eating is the symmetry. That's what gives your body all the strength. It's a symmetry of all of these powerful foods together. So, but just starting with these 6 is a really powerful thing to do. So greens, greens. Every dietary theory that there is, I believe, agrees on this. It's probably the one thing that they're packed with more incredible nutrients than any other food. They help with weight loss, protect blood vessels, and they prevent diabetes. Kale, Swiss chard, collard greens, spinach, bok choy. They're very easy to add to soups, put on a sandwich. Obviously, they're in salads. So that the greens, and then beans. Beans are the most nutrient-packed carbohydrate. There's so many ways you can eat them. Spreads, soups, hummus. I eat hummus all the time. Soups, salads, so many different kinds of beans. Edamame, white beans, chickpeas, obviously, black beans, that lend themselves to different kinds of cuisine. So we have greens, beans, and then onions, or anything in the onion family, scallions, shallots, garlic. They're great for cardiovascular health and overall immunity, which a lot of folks are concerned with.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And then mushrooms. They are a huge anti-inflammatory food and a huge anti-cancer food. It's more mainstream now, but Joel Fuhrman and Dr. Greger have been saying for so long that if Big Pharma, if the world got caught news of what mushrooms do for cancer, Big Pharma would be in a lot of trouble. And it's actually becoming more mainstream now. But
is that every kind of mushroom? Is it a?
Yes, I mean, I believe so. The last I heard from Dr. Joel Fuhrman is that shiitake, which happened to be my favorite. They're so lovely. You can mix them together, but every kind of mushroom. He says the best thing to do is, say, have shiitake as the one you usually do, and then always do 2 mushrooms a day, or 2, however often you do, as much as you can do this. Add cremini or any kind of mushroom, white button mushrooms, portobello mushrooms. So, but they have properties that combat especially breast cancer, colon cancer, and renal cancer.
Wow.
So mushrooms are a big deal. And then the berries. They are true superfoods, low in sugar. I think, does anybody not like berries? I've never known anyone. So they're high in antioxidants. So again, an anti-cancer food, and they're good for memory. And lastly, seeds, which, I wouldn't really eat that many seeds if I didn't make an effort. But the thing is, they're so easy to incorporate into you sprinkle them on your cereal, your salad. You can even sprinkle them on your sandwich, or, you can I have a little dish in the cupboard, and even my husband will just, sunflower, just a mixture, sunflower seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds.
And I think what you just said is super important, because in my mind, when I heard these foods, I had images of myself just eating them by themselves, raw, like handfuls of seeds. And I was like going, bah. But there's so many ways to bring these foods together that actually make each other taste even better. And it feels like things are getting more delicious as I go along.
Well, that's the thing. You're giving your body what it really wants, and your body is quick to say, give me more, give me more. Your palate changes. So that's part of what crossing the line is about, like the new experience, like that's part of it. But anyway, so I wanted to say about seeds, they're the healthiest of the fats, and they help with preventing diabetes. And then lastly, I just want to say that when you have the symmetry of these 6 foods, they become even more powerful in your body. And just doing this is a fantastic way to begin, eating more plant-based or completely plant-based, whatever it is you're looking to do. So there's more to consider, but this system from Dr. Furman is a really efficient place to start, I think.
And your Nourish Technology book is going to be coming out soon, which I'm
Yeah.
super excited about. There's one last thing I want to ask that you share, just because it was so revolutionary for me, that along with the food, I need to quiet my mind and breathe, because part of why I don't take time to feed myself, part of why is because I'm like, I've got to go. And I always, again, thought that I had to sit and meditate for 30 minutes or nothing, all or nothing, girl. And you showed me some other ways to actually start to just quiet the mind and let go. Could you share that with us real quickly?
Well, yeah, I mean, when you get into the holistic piece of this, health and wellness is the complete integration. So, you want to open up to your inner wisdom, cultivate moment to moment awareness, learn to listen to the language of your own body. That all happens eventually while you tune out all the wacky messages, conflicting messages of the outer world. So you've got to start building that muscle. If you ever want to get there, you've got to start creating stillness. And meditation is a great way to do that, but a lot of people are turned off by the word meditation and carries a lot of baggage, and myself included. I'm not always in the mood, but the thing is, if your goal is to calm the chatter in your mind, and there's so many other ways you can do that. I like to get in the car, just blare the music and drive. I know, like to go out in nature and focus on nature. Dancing, that's you need to have a little bit of awareness about if you're doing this with all the chatter going on in your head. Well, no, you have to say, okay, your intention has to be, I want to get rid of that, and just sort of sink into your heart and see a light or whatever it may be. And I do it with my sheep. For some reason, my sheep they have a really strong calming effect on me. I still don't know why, but they most certainly do.
What do you
What
do?
else?
You just go out and
Hang out with them. I mean, they're so social, and they buzz around me. And there's something I've got to figure it out. They're just so calming. So what other ways? But the point is, you can could even be doing the dishes, and just drop into your heart and just and it doesn't have to be for that long. And you start building the muscle, I think, is what happens. And you just keep adding a little bit more, and you want to start.
I love that it can be anywhere with whatever it is we're doing. It doesn't have to be this
Could be
whole steal
loud
away.
rap music, it could be whatever it is. That's the point. It has to be something that stirs you, something you enjoy, and that you can just sink into.
And I did that the other day. I had a crazy busy day, and I haven't even been outside. And all I did is walk out on the front porch. I knew I had about 5 minutes, and I just stopped and I looked up at the sky, and I saw clouds, and I saw these leaves.
Yeah.
And my whole system just started to quiet down. And we can do that anywhere we go. There's some part of nature that we can just be quiet and be with, and just giving ourselves a chance. So Ruth, I am so grateful that you came on and that you shared
I'm
this.
so grateful.
And I know that you have a gift for everyone. And so do you want to tell them about the gift that you would like to share?
Well, anyone who is interested in becoming more plant-based or putting more plants on their plate, it's just a PDF document. It's called Plant-Based in a Nutshell. It's tailored for those just getting started. It addresses the common misbeliefs of protein, calcium, and there's so many others. It has some of my experiences and tips. It's a summary of the China study. And then at the end, there's some simple, really simple foundational recipes. Not,
Recipes.
not really the kind you're going to have for a dinner party, but the kind that'll keep you on track every day.
I love that. So if you would like to receive this, all you have to do is send an email to Ruth Lembo, and I want to put that up on the screen, RLEMBO7,
Or if you have any other questions.
Or other questions. She's incredibly generous in spirit and loves to talk about this stuff. And if you want a feast for the eyes, you can find her on Facebook, because I always escape into her farm sanctuary on Facebook and see pictures of the dogs and the sheep, and it makes me happy. It makes me so happy. So thank you, and thank you everyone for coming together and for joining us. And I can't say enough about really loving ourselves in every way, including how we feed ourselves and how it changes happiness and well-being from day to day and really minute to minute. So with that, we will say good night. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Blessings. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.